has shaken hands with paradise.
Be water, my friend.
Lights out, away we go.
Hey guys, you're gonna have to take leave, man. I'm driving.
What are you talking about, bro? Alright, what are we talking about?
So we're just driving to our friend's house. I've got this NCS, no copyright, lo-fi music playing on in the background, so we don't get copyrighted. Got policemen all around trying to, get these rowdy mofos out under control for the Tottenham match. We all know that they're hooligans. Me being a Spurs fan, so I like the way you're not talking, despite being.
No, I'm just listening. No, so basically, today's an interesting day. There's a lot of sport events going on today. The first one is a potential.
There's a London derby.
Yeah. Well.
Which we're walking past now.
Oh, Tottenham and Chelsea. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Nice. Your face isn't in catch shot.
Yeah. So Tottenham and Chelsea. Yeah. You know what? This is quite an interesting match.
Yeah, you predicted a Chelsea win 1-0, and I predicted a Spurs win because I'm a Spurs fan. Like fan, not like a hooligan.
Yeah.
Fucking
hell. Hey, beep beep beep.
People in North London, man, don't know how to use the roads. Anyways, but yeah, I don't know. I think Chelsea have been in sort of like a rut. It's a home match for Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea really don't have anything to play for, and they haven't been scoring. So, Spurs is this is kind of the match where like they break the duck and like, they just
when
score.
you say Chelsea don't have anything to play for or much to play for, they do. They haven't won a game in a long time and they're struggling to score. They drew against Nottingham Forest last game, I think. So
oh shit, I went the wrong way.
They're really looking for a dub. They're really looking for a dub. Yeah, that's what happens when you are looking at the camera. So I'm thinking, I said my prediction was 1-0, wasn't it?
Your prediction was 1-0 for Chelsea. Mine was 2-0 for Spurs. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, Son has scored in this most recent game. We have Kane, who's always been on form. We've always had an amazing attack, right? So offensive.
I don't know about amazing, but a half decent attack.
More like, would you not say Lucas Moura, Kane, Son, Kulusevski? Like that's.
Kulusevski's been hit and miss in my opinion.
Like
but
our
Moura,
attack is
Kane,
pretty,
and Son.
Like yeah, our attack is pretty lit. Our only issue is defense.
But
and midfield.
This season, I think I would disagree. I would say your attack is a bit of an issue this season.
They're not
because
firing.
Kane is the only one that's pretty much carrying the team.
True. I mean, no.
Son is ever since he smashed his face or whatever, he's kind of struggled for form. And he also lacks a bit of pace. I think he lacks a bit of fitness as well. On top of that, I was watching some of the runs he was making, and he was actually being outpaced by a few slow defenders, which is weird.
Fair. Okay.
So,
I don't know.
But where's Lucas Moura? Lucas Moura, does he play anymore?
I think he was injured or something.
Oh, he's been away.
He's been out for a while. Yeah. Anyways, we might cut a lot of this out because like we've got to cut, like we're trying to make this like a 10-15 minute video.
Yeah.
Not make it too long.
Why the fuck you lying?
So we're driving to our friend's house in Brighton to watch it because it's kind of a mini Super Sunday today.
Yeah.
So on to the second event that we want to talk about, or the second sporting event, which is the Carabao Cup Final.
Newcastle and Manchester United.
Newcastle and United, yeah.
The opportunity for United to grab some silverware finally after 6-7 years, which is absolutely incredible. You'd never have heard anything like that in the past.
Yeah,
they were always
and,
a team
I think
to grab
it's all
silverware.
looking I think it's all looking up for United right now. I used to be a United fan, so like there's a soft spot in my heart for them. They're about to join possibly Newcastle in the Qatari ownership, kind of the Qatari-owned club. Erik ten Hag has got the team firing. Rashford's still in a rich vein of form.
The best I've probably ever seen him, if I'm honest.
The problem is, right, I feel like because everything's going, everything says, so my match prediction was that, did I say United to win 2-0 or 3-0?
I think you said 2-0, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, and did you predict United or?
Yeah, I said 2-1.
Yeah, the problem is because by all accounts, United should win, right? Everything's going for them. All of their strikers are on form. Casemiro's back. Like, you know, everything. Like Ten Hag has made every big decision correctly. Like everything says United should win, right?
Yeah.
Which is why I think there's a chance they'll lose because of that. Not only that, it's kind of an underdog story, right? Like Newcastle, like if you haven't watched the short, watch the short. But they've their keeper situation is horrendous.
Yeah.
They're like, to be fair to them, Bruno Guimaraes is back. They've recently lost to Liverpool, giving Liverpool a chance to get back into the top 4 race, although they did lose yesterday to Palace, so you know.
Yeah.
But so like Newcastle aren't in a hot vein of form. Manchester United are. Their keeper situation sucks. They've both got their Brazilian centre mids back. So I don't know. I think it might make Newcastle more of a threat than we think, especially if United sit back.
I mean, going off their last game, it was a bit of a blip for Newcastle, but other than that, they've had an incredible season, and they've conceded the least amount of goals. That says a lot. Even Arsenal can score against them. They drew, I think, their last game. So it's going to be an interesting game. I don't think there's going to be a lot of goals in it. It could actually go to extra time, you know.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Maybe penalties.
I mean, it gives us our money's worth. We're not paying for it, but it's giving our money's worth for watching.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I don't know. I just hope it's a good match. I think, the thing is, Newcastle needs silverware. It would be like a great send off for the current team. I suspect during the summer transfer window, most of their players are sort of going to get swapped out because of the new Qatari owners, so they've got more money now. So this would be a good swan song. It would foster in a new age of Qatari ownership and winning silverware, much like City, like what happened to City. Whereas for United, it would be a return to the old ways.
Yeah.
If you guys get that reference, Dark Side. And I'm gonna cut in a clip of that.
Ready the Armada. We will use the old ways.
Fine, we'll use the old ways. Have you watched it?
I think so, but I haven't seen Star Wars in a while.
Star Wars.
Oh, what did you say?
Dark Side.
Oh, Dark
It's from
Side.
Justice League.
Oh, I thought you said Star Wars because it's the dark side. I've not seen it.
Did you watch Zack Snyder's Justice League?
No, I didn't watch it. No.
At the end, right?
Yeah.
Do you mind if I spoil it for you?
One eternity later.
So the last event on this Super Sunday is Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury, and I've left it for last because it's probably the thing that we have most to talk about. We seem to have very differing views on the outcome. You have solid
Your views surprise me.
So you're backing Tommy, yeah? You're backing
I'm
Tommy
backing
Fury.
the boxer.
Okay, and I'm backing Jake Paul.
What do you call Jake Paul?
I would call the influencer boxer.
Okay, fair enough.
So,
What's your reasoning behind it?
okay. So my rationale is Tommy Fury doesn't perform well under pressure. And I don't mean boxing pressure. I mean public pressure. He has a lot more to lose from this because he's the boxer.
Yeah.
Jake Paul is really good at shit talking. And I think he's in Tommy Fury's head. Firstly. Secondly, he didn't turn up to the press conference. You only don't do that if you're I might be reading into it too much, right? Because we don't know what went on. But I would say you only do that if you are shitting your pants, okay? And also, that's just professional obligation. It's you're supposed to promote your fight. You can't be you can't just not turn up and do any of your press duties.
Well, I get that.
Okay.
I get that. Okay.
Thirdly,
Yeah.
I think people still discount Jake Paul's boxing ability because he came from a Disney star and he's an influencer. Now, I hate the guy, right? I don't like his actions, okay?
Yeah.
But I understand that it's a personality that he's put on, and he plays the villain character. So I can appreciate that. I still think that he's going about it the wrong way, okay? But, what are these people doing?
Jesus.
Fucking idiots, man. Anyways, but I would say, personally, that Jake Paul is still relatively young. I think he's 24, 25? right?
Older than Tommy.
Is he older than Tommy?
Yeah, Tommy is young, 22, 23.
Okay, so Tommy's still coming into his prime, okay? Firstly. Secondly, Jake Paul's been boxing for like 5-6 years now, right?
I think so. Yeah.
So for almost a quarter of his life, he's been boxing,
Yeah.
right? He's been fairly dedicated. He has the resources for it, yeah? And so I would say that he has a better career and better skills than the majority of amateur boxers. And actually I would say even the majority of pro boxers. By which I mean there's a lot of pro boxing. It's quite easy to get a pro boxing license, okay? If we take it back to KSI versus Pineda, yeah? Pineda was a professional boxer.
Yeah, but
Technically.
yeah.
Yeah?
He
So
doesn't look
when
like
I say
one, that's
Jake
for
Paul's
sure.
better than most professional boxers, what I mean is there is a lot of really rubbish professional boxers. It's a big problem in the professional boxing world, right? And it's really difficult to look at a professional boxer's record, and unless you go deep into seeing their opponents, how they fight, like, you know, what type of fight was it, what skill level were they at, right? To tease out, okay, did they just fight a load of scrubs to get an undefeated record, which is a criticism lots of people say against Ryan Garcia, right? Or did they beat some legitimate boxers, okay? So I would say Jake Paul has done it to a big audience, under pressure, under the lights, yeah? And it remains undefeated, okay?
Yeah.
I appreciate that Tommy Fury in spars and in raw skill, if it wasn't the situation that it is, might be better, yeah? But I would say this is the biggest fight Tommy Fury has ever fought. Okay? It's probably going to be
in terms of
viewership, in terms of money earned, in terms of pressure. Like, I doubt there is ever going to be another fight for Tommy Fury that is as big or as like did it stop recording or something?
No, it's fine. It's gone. It's not my phone.
That is as big as this fight. Like, I don't think he'll ever have another payday or another fight that is as... Friends calling. What's up?
What's up, darling?
What's your prediction for the Man U Newcastle match?
Wait, is that on today?
Yeah, that's the final. What do you think we're coming
Come on,
for?
stay on top of it, man.
Oh. I thought you guys just wanted to chill with me.
I do want to come chill.
That's like the last thing we want to do.
Bro, you're hurting his feelings.
Beep, 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 beep all of that out.
No, for water balloon fights. Like, that's what they're for, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in 5 degrees weather, yeah, sure.
And so what do you think? Man United or Newcastle?
So basically the team that is Saudi or the team that's going to be Saudi.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I would go for the current Saudi team.
Okay.
Newcastle.
Did you watch the short?
Yes.
Do you think with their third or fourth choice keeper, Newcastle are still like...
Oh, the one about keepers?
Huh?
The one about keepers?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, Karius has, like, they might go with Karius, and you know Karius hasn't played a match since playing in the Belgian league in like last February, right?
Yeah, well, what does he have? He just has to grab the ball. Like, how can you forget that?
As long as the defense is on point.
Just for the vlog, this is a Liverpool fan, so he's being sarcastic.
Yeah.
And how about the Jake Paul fight? Like, me and Julian like disagree. I'm saying Jake Paul, and I was in the middle of like giving my arguments why Jake Paul will win.
You're saying Jake?
I think Jake.
No.
Yeah? I'm saying Jake.
But Julian said Jake as well.
No, Julian's for Tommy Fury. He's like, you're going against the boxer.
No, so we had a chat about this. We both thought that the common sense option is Fury. But I think it might be a bit scripted. And if it is,
that's what I was going to get to. That's the only way I think Jake is gonna win.
We'll watch tonight. Anyways, I'll talk to you later, man.
There's no reason why it wouldn't be scripted,
All right.
but there's no reason
Send me
why
the
it would.
location.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care, man. Bye.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I've kind of laid out my arguments basically, and then the last point I was going to say. Oh God. What's this? Okay. And then the last aspect is, like you've mentioned, there is a suspicion. I don't think so. That Jake Paul's fights are scripted, and if it is,
Boxing
then,
is notorious
yeah,
for fixing matches.
but if it is, then
Yeah.
who is it going to be scripted for? Is it going to be scripted for Jake Paul, or is it going to be?
Well, there's a
scripted for
rematch
Tommy Fury?
clause. for
There's a
Jake
rematch
Paul.
clause, yes, but also I don't know.
There isn't one for the other way around, though.
What if Tommy Fury loses?
Oh no, if Tommy Fury loses, there is a rematch clause.
But if
If Jake Paul
Tommy Fury-
loses, I
then-
don't think there's a rematch clause, from what I remember them saying.
Okay, fine. But so in that case, do you not think that Jake Paul will win this fight and then have his fight against KSI in August before the Tommy Fury rematch, and then have the Tommy Fury rematch after that, where Tommy Fury can win that one after he's gotten used to the big occasion and the scripting and whatever, right? Like, that seems to me more plausible and will make them more money, and from a business perspective, that makes more money. So those are my arguments. Those four
Okay.
arguments.
Let me ask you a question. Did you watch the press conference between Jake Paul and
No,
Tommy
I've
Fury?
got better things to do with my life.
So I watched the summary, and this was the first time ever that Jake Paul came out and said, "I appreciate Tommy Fury's ability to box. He's not a great boxer, but he's a good boxer. He moves well, he's quick, he's got a good reach, good jab. We've studied him well." Like, this is the first time he praised Tommy. And when there's a level, when a guy or boxer, even the likes of Jake, does something like that, it's probably one of the first times he's done it to that level, from my knowledge. And I feel like he's acknowledging the ability that he's going against, and he also acknowledges that there's a chance that he will lose. I see it that way.
I would say you're reading into his psychology, which is fair. It's one of my arguments. But I would also say that if you actually watch Jake Paul after most of his fights, he doesn't continue trash talking after the fight, and normally he's quite respectful. And
Yeah, that's
secondly,
correct.
if your opponent isn't at the actual press conference, then it's very hard for Jake Paul to.
Well,
beat
that's
Jake
another
Paul.
thing. That's another, yeah. So
So-
he was there at the end, but I think that was mind games from Tommy as well, in my opinion. But another thing I forgot to mention is that did you hear about the bet that Jake Paul did with Tommy?
No.
So Jake said towards the end, and apparently there was they showed up a contract and said that put your money where your mouth is, and he said, if I lose, I will give you my purse as well. So if Jake Paul said if he loses, he will give his purse
To Tommy Fury.
to Tommy Fury, yeah.
Okay.
And then the other way, if it's the other way around, it's the same thing. Jake gets all of it and Tommy gets nothing.
Okay.
That's a pretty big deal, isn't it?
It's a big deal for Tommy. It's not a big deal for Jake.
Yeah, so obviously Jake, it's still a payday for Jake as well. Let's not forget that, because it's £4 to £8 million. That's a lot of money, even for Jake. So
It is, but I would say that it's a bigger amount of money for Tommy.
yeah, but you also got to remember that the amount of money they put into all the people that are helping him to train, the nutrition, everything like that costs a lot of money. Now Jake can probably afford that compared
Okay,
to
then
the
fine.
thing. So
Whilst I'm driving, you raise your arguments why you think Tommy Fury is a better bet. You
Well-
can turn it towards you because I'm driving.
yeah, so first of all, Tommy Fury is a boxer. He comes from the Fury, or he's a Fury. Yeah,
He's a Fury. Yeah.
he's a Fury basically. And they, obviously, Tyson Fury is the heavyweight champion of the world at the moment. He's
Arguably
undefeated
the
and
greatest
stuff.
ever.
Arguably the greatest ever, yeah. I would probably agree with that. And Tommy is talented. He's got a lot of talent. I've seen, yeah. The thing is, even Jake said that in the news conference. So he acknowledged that he's got talent, but he is still not where he needs to be. And I can agree with that. But I genuinely do think that Tommy is a half decent boxer. He just, when it comes to fighting, it's one thing actually doing well in a fight and actually showing off your good technical ability, right? And I still think Tommy lacks the experience. I don't know how much of an amateur career he had, but even if we take that out of the picture, I genuinely still think Tommy will win, because in every way, I can't think of anything apart from the overhand from Jake. There's nothing that Jake is better. Like, Tommy is miles better than Jake in every department, apart from that overhand, which will probably be the only thing that would potentially catch Tommy off balance. But another thing I would say, Tommy's footwork is also quite a bit better than Jake's. And if Tommy's footwork is on point, Jake might not even touch him. And I mean it. Like, Jake would struggle to touch Tommy. If Tommy actually has worked on his footwork, and boxing footwork is deadly. So, same thing with any martial art. If your footwork's on point, then you got the game in the bag.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other arguments before I for my rebuttal?
I think I did have one more. Yeah. So when we look at Jake's previous fights, he's had some issues with Tyrone Woodley gave Jake a hard time, I think, on the second fight, where Jake got pushed to the ropes because he got hit pretty hard by Tyrone, but Tyrone didn't finish off. Now that's the difference between Tyrone and Tommy Fury. If that's something like that happens with Tommy Fury is most likely going to finish off, because he's got the boxing mentality to follow it up with combinations, but far quicker than Tyrone and the Spider guy. What's his name? Anderson Silva. So
the Spider guy. What was his name? Jesus Christ! People are gonna roast you.
So no, but he is the Spider, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So at least I got that right. So I think Tommy is a better boxer than Tyrone and Anderson Silva. And I know Anderson Silva is a good striker, but it's different to be a good striker compared to a boxer. In a out-and-out fight, I'm pretty sure Tommy would get his ass whooped by Anderson Silva. But that's not the case. It's a boxing match, and I genuinely think their hands are not as quick as Tommy, and their footwork is not as good as Tommy. It's a different type of footwork. Let's just put it that way. A different type. It's all of them have good footwork, but boxing is a different type of footwork. Yeah? All right, that's all I have to say. I don't know what I have to say, but if somehow Jake wins this, there's only two ways he's going to win it. A knockout. I don't think he's going to win by points, because Tommy has, from what I've seen, I know he hasn't been, he's never been 12 rounds, right? Because I think first 10 fights you never go 12 rounds, right? It's an 8-round fight, right? So it's one of those things where I think if it goes to points, Tommy's definitely going to win. But I don't believe Tommy will allow it to go to points, and I also don't believe Jake will want to allow it to go to points. So he's going to put everything into it to try and maybe knock Tommy out in the first couple of rounds. So that's what Tommy has to watch out for. But other than that, there's no other way that I think Jake can win.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I offer my rebuttal now?
Go for it.
Okay. So, firstly, did you watch Anderson versus Jake Paul?
Yes.
That showed me a lot of how Jake is improving at an impressive rate between fights. Okay?
I'm not going to deny that. I think he has improved. Anderson
Silva is not so he is an MMA legend. He was also like nearly 50 or over 50 at that point. Okay, so he's slower, right? He's not a young Tommy Fury. However, Anderson Silva, Tyrone Woodley, Ben Askren, what do these people all have in common? They are prize fighters. They are fighters who have fought under big lights in front of big crowds, and they were able to execute their game. Okay, it might not have been a good game. It might not have been a good game.
Not Ben Askren, mate.
No, Ben Askren executed his game. I'm saying he's got a really shit game. He's not a striker, right?
I would never say he executed his game.
He did execute his game.
Which was stand in the ring.
Yeah, exactly. And then get 30 seconds and get paid like £2 million or something.
Yeah, that was a legendary.
So fight. That's a massive payday for 15 seconds of work.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So go fuck yourselves, man. Anyway.
Beep beep.
So what I mean is, right, these people weren't basically overtaken by the occasion.
Yeah.
Okay? They were able, they're used to fighting in front of crowds, okay? Have you watched all of Tommy Fury's fights?
Not all, maybe last 3.
Okay. What do you think about him under lights?
You gotta remember that he fought boxers.
He fought boxers. Did he though?
Yeah.
Because I remember
Because they move
distinctly-
like boxers.
No.
Let's just say that. Yeah.
There
Even
was-
the taxi driver that apparently he fought.
And he struggled against.
Yeah, but he's not that bad. That guy. He's literally not that bad. He's not amazing. He's not like great or.
But you're
He's not that
talking
bad.
about Tommy Fury like he's a pro boxer and he's shown out against
No.
pro boxers.
Tommy is a far better fighter than every fighter he's fought. Right.
It's easy to fight. Basically,
He-
okay. This is
It's
my
hard
argument.
to fight a shit fighter. That's always the case. It's always hard to fight a shit fighter.
Okay.
It's
and this
harder
was-
to
this-
fight a shit fighter
shh,
than a
This
good
is
fighter.
my argument. Okay. Tommy Fury
Mm.
has not fought somebody
Yeah.
who actually is trying to genuinely win. Except for once against this Polish dude who gave him a lot of trouble. Okay? Secondly, Tommy Fury, I don't deny, looks amazing in sparring, looks amazing on the pads, looks amazing against a punching bag, which is most of his opponents so far have just been a punching bag. And it's amazing to look good when your opponent doesn't move.
Yeah.
Okay? However, I don't think Jake Paul wants to be a punching bag,
No.
and therefore he will fight back.
Yeah.
Now, Tommy Fury, okay, the first time he's ever had a relatively decent crowd, okay, was when he was on, which undercard was it? He was on an undercard, right? And he looked awful, so stiff, so slow. The nerves get to Tommy Fury, right? It's a common and repeatable like phenomenon.
Yeah.
Tommy Fury gets in a ring in front of a crowd, he starts freezing up. He starts stiffening up.
Okay.
All your thing about him having a better footwork, him having a better jab, him looking better, only works if Tommy Fury can execute his game plan in front of a crowd, which I doubt, right? You said that Tommy Fury is a talented boxer, right? A la Tyson Fury. I think he can't even hold a candle to Tyson Fury.
Yeah,
Like,
but it's not fair to compare.
No, but you
because they're
compared them.
No, I didn't.
You said that he's part of the Fury family.
He is, but I
and
wasn't-
that's why
I didn't compare.
he's good.
Yeah, but I didn't
But
compare.
he's not, right? And this
But
is
you got to remember, it's his 7th fight. Yeah. Look at all the boxers at that point. Where what level were they at? Like
I
very
think
different compared
by
to the next 10
like,
fights.
I think when you fight under the lights, under pressure, in front of a crowd, you can see what type of person, like
Yeah.
what type of fighter a boxer is. And from what we've seen from Tommy Fury, is I would say what we've learned is he is a good technical boxer,
Yeah.
but he doesn't have it when it counts. Is my assessment of him. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
also, Tommy Fury, right? I really think you should have seen his, like you said, we don't know about his amateur boxing days. Well, I've seen footage from his amateur boxing days. It looks really bad. Like, as in, genuinely, it looks like...
Yeah, but why? That's why it's called amateur boxing.
But you tried to use that as an argument of like you don't,
Yeah.
like, he's been great during his pro boxing days. No, he hasn't. And that he,
No, I
like,
didn't
you know...
say he was great during his pro
But
boxing
you,
days.
but you said that he's had 7 fights and he looks impressive in all of them and he looks like the better boxer.
No, I
So-
didn't say he's impressive, but he got the job done.
Yeah, but
one way or
getting the,
another.
but there's a difference between, like, for example, I would say, if Jake Paul's last fight was his second fight against Tyron Woodley, I would err more towards, like, I can see the argument for Tommy Fury.
Yeah.
Watch me be wrong and all of this, like, passionate defense, like, sounds so stupid after Jake Paul gets his head knocked off. But anyways,
Within 1 minute.
like,
I also think
his,
Tommy is fitter than Jake. Let's just put that out there.
if his last fight was against Tyron Woodley, that second fight, and Jake Paul won by, like, just that knockout in, like, one of the later rounds, then I would be more inclined to think maybe Tommy Fury is like a better bet, right? However, we saw in his Anderson Silva fight
That was his hardest fight. He struggled in that fight, Jake.
Yes, he struggled, and you learn from struggle. You don't learn from having easy fights. And Tommy
still
Fury
learn.
has made easy fights look hard.
I think you learn from every fight.
Okay, what has Tommy Fury learned from his boxing fights?
It's unfortunate that the fighters that they've put him against, or whoever put them
But
against,
he picks his opponents.
I don't know about that, because a lot of the time his dad's a massive influence on it, and boxers at the beginning of their career, they always choose easy fights.
Okay, his dad, and that's the other thing, right? I think you're really miscounting how much pressure
His dad
is putting on him.
Yeah.
Like he's
Well, that's just
literally
a
said,
theory
like,
thing, isn't it?
like you should never, like if you lose, never box again. Like I will disown you from the Fury title.
They asked Tommy about that, and he said it's just for the cameras.
Is it just for the cameras though?
He said it's just for the cameras.
It doesn't matter if it's just for the cameras, right? Like if it's just for the cameras, fine. But it could just be for the cameras and still affect you mentally. That's why saying things like why Jake Paul's mind games works. He says lots of rubbish. He's actually quite respectful towards the end of a fight, right, to his opponents. But like it's just for the cameras, right? But it still gets in your head, right? Your dad's saying that he'll disown you, right? And when you're getting punched in the face, right? That might play on your mind a little bit.
What I find funny actually is when Jake fired that contract over. The first person that said I'll take it was his dad, not him, not Tommy. Tommy hesitated.
That's the thing, man. Like Tyson Fury has the talent to back up his shit talk. Okay, Tommy Fury doesn't shit talk because he doesn't have the talent to back it up.
To be honest, Tommy was speaking extremely well in that press conference, like to the level that Jake was, or even better at times.
Anyways,
so
we've had a passionate defense. Like I think I've said my closing.
I genuinely don't even think this should even be an argument. But hey, if it ends up being an argument, then kudos to Jake, man. Kudos to Jake.
Like
and kudos to fixing boxing matches.
Mate, this guy, man, can't accept if he's wrong. Fine. So
no, I can accept it, but I'll know if it's a genuine win by Jake. I know, because I can tell.
You don't think it was a genuine win against Anderson Silva?
No. I think all of his fights were genuine wins. I don't think any of them were fixed. You can tell. Like,
I agree.
Yeah. But I will also know if this is a genuine fight.
Fine. So I would say I would also know, but I would also say that, therefore, my closing argument, I think Jake Paul to win by a 4th round knockout.
A few people have said that, actually. It's an interesting take.
Okay, my actual prediction before was like a 6th round knockout, but anyways, what's your prediction? Tommy Fury win?
I think Tommy Fury, I would say 4th round knockout, or knockdown, TKO, not a knockout. Could be just a TKO, technical knockout. Oh, okay.
Yeah, sure.
So no, I don't think it's going to be a KO, because they need to protect Jake Paul's. I mean, it could happen, right? I'm not saying it won't, but they need to protect Jake Paul. He's like a celebrity, a future star, or whatever. What if he dies? But what if he dies in the ring? Like, so the referee has to make sure that he's on his game to stop the fight when it needs to be stopped, and not to prolong it. So, and I also personally think Tommy potentially hits harder than Jake. Jake's got a good right hand, but I just think the speed and the combinations is potentially going to be too much for Jake. But hey, anyway.
Okay, cool.
Anything else?
No, I think we'll catch you guys in the sort of like in the next bit. We'll cut in a lot of like clips from the matches and also the fights.
Yeah. Listen, whoever's right or whoever's wrong, so be it. I just hope that.
Do you want to make a bet on it?
It doesn't finish like within like 30 seconds.
Do you want to make a bet on it?
What do you mean a bet?
I don't know. Next meal?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Fine.
Loser buys the next meal, yeah?
Loser buys the next meal.
You're saying it doesn't matter how they win. You're saying.
Does it matter where we go and eat? It can be like super expensive place.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where we eat.
Alright, Mayfair. I'm joking.
Okay.
We'll see.
Right.
Alright. Cool.
Catch you guys in a couple of seconds with the clips.
Peace.
Skip. Shoots. Great strike. What a goal! Son on the corner. Flicked on by Dan.
Few inches later.
Shaw's ball in. The header is fantastic. Coming to make it 2. It's Rashford driven wide. Rashford! Manchester United win the League Cup.
Eventually.
Winner by split decision.
Tommy!
So we're just driving back from our friend's place. We've just watched a day of sport. Julian missed most of it because he was doing work, but we're going to do some quick reactions. We'll start off backwards now. We've just finished watching Tommy Fury, Jake Paul. Very interesting boxing match. We got our money's worth, 8 rounds.
Yep.
Split decision victory. What are your thoughts about it, Julian, first?
I actually thought Tommy would win. I didn't think it would go points decision. I was a little bit surprised by Tommy's overall performance.
Surprise good or surprise bad?
Well, he did give a half decent performance, but I expected a little bit more from him, if I'm perfectly honest.
Overall, the correct result?
I think overall the correct result. I don't think Jake was good enough to win. However, he also surprised me in terms of his overall performance. So, you saw the commentators on at BT Sport after the match. They were kind of still saying that Jake just got a few nice shots here and there, but he's nothing special. Of course, they're going to say that, but it's potentially the maximum that he can take this from now, unless he continues to dedicate himself more to the art.
So I would agree. So I think that if I was being objective, I would say that definitely it was a Tommy Fury win. I don't think that knockdown was a true knockdown. I don't think the points being taken off was actually like fair. It was weird how it was taken off. To be fair, I don't think Jake Paul's point should have been taken off either, to be honest.
I don't know. I think the referee was just giving out points weirdly.
I would say that Jake Paul is very young in his career, right? And I would say that, to me, I was more surprised that, I think for me, Tommy Fury didn't really show enough progression from his fights to make me feel like he has a promising boxing future. If he's going to try and carry on in this entertainment kind of boxing space, I feel like he needs to develop more of a personality, like personally. And I'm not. You think that he's definitely going to go far?
I think a lot can change in someone's fighting career. A lot can change. A lot can change in someone's fighting career, and
I agree.
We can't totally discount Tommy Fury.
So
He's got a good team behind him.
But I would say that for me, the reason why I feel like Tommy Fury might not come back, or at least might not improve, is because he's got a newborn daughter at home. He seems like he's more focused on family. He doesn't have that greater personality, in my opinion.
Has the same thing.
Yeah, but Tyson's got personality. This is what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, compared to Tyson, he definitely has personality.
But yeah, I think overall, Jake Paul didn't deserve to win that. I think at best he could have hoped for is a tie from that fight. I think a loss by split decision might be actually, more fair than Jake deserves, because I don't think it should have been a unanimous decision. Maybe not as widely split. But anyways, moving back to the to the Carabao Cup Final, we saw Man United win 2-0. You only saw the second half, so I'll sort of inform you. The first half, basically, Casemiro scores and was a linchpin, I think, in that team today.
There's been a massive impact on the team.
So obviously, coming into this, we were questioning. We obviously had Karius come back and be the goalkeeping choice for Newcastle.
He didn't do too bad.
He didn't do too bad. I would say a better keeper than him would have stopped Rashford's goal. And at 1-0, I think it would have been a more competitive match.
Yeah.
I would say that, Casemiro's goal may be offside, but VAR ruled that it wasn't offside. So, lots of and who cares about VAR these days, honestly? Yes. And yeah, I think overall the second half was really boring. 0-0 in the second half. A bit more tactical, but yeah. What about you? You've caught the last third of the match, I think.
I think Newcastle have recently fallen off a bit on their form. They've were very, very well. They've done very well this season. They've overperformed. I think any Newcastle fan should be extremely happy about this season. It's their best season in a long time since Alan Shearer was dominating Premier League, which was a while ago. So you got to give it to Newcastle, and I think they're only going to get better with the new Qatari owners or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, United haven't won anything in the last 6 years, I believe. So,
and so I
Ten
think
Hag has done a good job.
So do you think this lends credence to the fact that like we might be seeing a new dynasty from Erik ten Hag? The new Qatari takeover.
Yeah.
Erik ten Hag wins his first cup in his first maiden season.
Yeah.
He deals with the Ronaldo problem. He has like a massive squad revamp. Like all the players he's brought in played key parts in that final. Like Lisandro Martinez, like say what you will about the guy, he's just shit stirrer, right? He was getting all up in people's faces.
Yep.
He was putting in big tackles. He was doing clearances. Like he was doing work. Yeah. Casemiro as well. So obviously both teams had their Brazilian centre mids coming back. Bruno Guimaraes like had good spells, I think, but I would say the person who had the most impact was definitely Casemiro.
Yeah, he's an incredible player. I've always rated him.
And speaking of Newcastle falling off a little bit, the other match, the fight for fourth place.
Yeah.
Spurs beat Chelsea like I predicted 2-0, exactly the result I predicted actually. You didn't get to watch it. I think Chelsea missed quite a few like really clear chances, like 6 yards out, no keeper. I would say that there are heavy calls now for Potter out, and there's a lot of pressure on him. What do you think about that result? So obviously Spurs put themselves in quite a strong fourth place position right now. They're, I believe, 3 or 4 points ahead of Newcastle. Newcastle have 2 games in hand or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
But they've come off a defeat. In the Premier League, they've just lost the cup final. Like, you know, the feelings are a bit down in Newcastle. So Spurs obviously on the up and up, although not very convincing. But let's talk more about Chelsea. What do you think about their situation?
Well, I feel a bit sorry for them, but they have like single players doing well, but collectively they just can't bring it together. Ever since Kante kind of fell out of the team, I don't think he was playing. Was he playing today?
If he was, I didn't see him in the game.
Exactly. So he's not there. So Chelsea has changed a lot in terms of their team. I'm still surprised Potter's there. This is probably the longest like the Chelsea main guys have kept a manager in, probably because Ibrahimovic is no longer there. Because back in his days, managers were like flying out.
But then, so this is the thing though, like if they do kick Potter out, like have they changed at all, or are they still the same old Chelsea?
It's funny, I heard something very interesting about Potter. A lot of people rate Potter in terms of his managerial knowledge. I don't know too much about him, but people rate him quite highly. They think that he's like the next best thing, the big thing.
So this is where the conversation becomes a bit more bit more nuanced, right? So I've heard a lot of like people who are Chelsea fans talk about this, about the Potter situation, which is the sentiment seems to be, are you going to get out of this habit of just getting rid of your managers whenever they don't perform as well as you want immediately? Firstly, and secondly, what does getting rid of Potter do for you this season, right? Like, you're out of the fight for Europa League or any European football next season. You're out of all the cups. Like, what does actually getting rid of Potter right now do for you, right? Does looking for his replacement next season around October benefit you more?
Yeah.
Is one argument. The other argument is that so that's the argument against getting rid of him. The argument for getting rid of him is Chelsea are in their worst run of away form in 20 years. They they've never really lost against Spurs in the derby, I think.
Yeah.
I don't have the stats.
They're not the Chelsea they used to be, that's for sure.
And also, Potter doesn't seem to be the right manager. And there's a very telling stat that when Potter was the manager at Brighton, they created a lot of chances but didn't score any goals, and that's an ongoing theme with his.
How was Brighton so high up in the league when he left?
So they still took their chances, and defensively they did okay, right? So Chelsea aren't conceding a ton of goals, but they just wouldn't score any goals, right? And that's the same problem at Brighton. And the thing is, after Potter's left, Brighton have scored a lot more goals this season than last season. with pretty much a worse team. So I don't know. I think the answer might be we might be seeing like tonight on the news. I haven't actually checked my phone. Potter might be out already.
Well, maybe that could be the case. But you know, when you say with a worse team,
Yeah.
They were kind of proven not to be a worse team because they were an actual team. This team is just getting
What,
really,
Brighton?
Oh, I'm talking about Chelsea. You too.
No, I was talking about Brighton. I'm saying,
oh yeah,
like, like Brighton are still doing really well this season, despite losing their manager and Trossard, right? And they've scored more goals with Potter gone. Potter's now moved to Chelsea. They're scoring less goals with a better team.
Okay.
And have spent $500 million in this transfer window.
Yeah, it's quite a lot.
And they were all on, by the way. They were all on the pitch.
Yeah.
Like, obviously,
There was
I
no
think they stopped too
togetherness.
late.
There was
No,
togetherness.
no. So yeah, I think we might see Potter out. Lastly, congratulations to Arsenal further extending their keeping their momentum up.
Mr. Martinelli, but we actually started with Trossard up front. Nketiah didn't start, so it was Trossard, Martinelli on the left, and Saka on the right. So this is a new sort of setup, and that's probably another reason why Mikel Arteta got Trossard, because he can actually play as a striker. So this is going to be the setup going forward. It's gonna be quite interesting.
And obviously Man City keeping their pressure up. I would say
quite convincing win, a devastating win actually. So,
and I would say as we reach these orange lights and we're about to go into some dark section, thanks for watching and peace. See you guys next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
You think I'm frontin', you can run it back, yo, go on, run it back. You know that I run it. Everything you wanna do, I already done it.